Good morning. Um, let's see, it looks like we have four participants now. Um, so go ahead and get started. My name is Allison Ayotte. I am the coordinator of academic success and content tutoring at the Office of Learning Services, otherwise known as the Tutoring Center. And the purpose of today's session is to make sure that everyone is aware of the services besides the well-known course content tutoring and writing tutoring that we have at the Office of Learning Services. So I'm going to walk you through some of the other offerings on our website. And of course, if there's any questions, we can discuss those as well. So on our website, the Student Services tab lists all the different types of tutoring services that we offer. Okay. So the tutoring session is the kind of well-known thing where, you know, people need help in a math course, so they make an appointment for math tutoring. Writing assistance, the Writing Center can help with any stage of any writing assignment, and we have appointments for tutoring as well as drop-in sessions. And the things I want to make sure that you know about today are some of our newer offerings. Students can make tutoring appointments for reading skills, study skills, or technology assistance. And with any of our tutoring appointments, the point is to help the students develop the skills that they need to become independent, successful learners. So in the reading skills area, we can help students develop skills for reading academic journals, reading college level textbooks, reading primary sources, or other types of reading, which could include strategies for reading narrative text. The reading skills used to be part of our study skills offerings, but once we started adding things beyond textbook reading and the list got a little bit longer, we made it its own category. The history department had kind of let us know about some struggles students were having with reading primary sources. So we've started having some of our history tutors and other tutors with that skill offer appointments in that area. If we become aware of other areas of reading where students need help, we are certainly willing to offer additional types of appointments. We add new things all the time as we hear from students and faculty about what their needs are and what would be helpful. In the study skills area, we have several things that we can help students with. The things that seem to be most popular for students to make appointments in this area are how to study and test taking strategies. And in the how to study, we use evidence-based study strategies like space practice, retrieval practice. So basically helping students learn effective ways that they can quiz themselves, and making a study plan can kind of help incorporate that, helping them kind of plan out sessions throughout the week where they are revisiting the content with a few days in between and testing themselves on it to help speed up their ability to retrieve the material well before a test. Does anybody have any questions so far on any of these offerings? The nice thing about the study skills appointments is it can really be customized to that student. So with making a study plan, the tutor can help them use their Google Calendar or another type of planning system to kind of plan out, like a template for the week that they can then, tweak as they go. And students can try out the strategies and then make another appointment to come back and check in with that tutor to talk about how it went, what went well, what they're still, trying to improve upon, and they can kind of, tweak it and go from there. Check the chat and see if there's any questions in here. I think I lost track of where the chat is.
Comments in recent ones.
Okay.
If you scroll here, it should.
I can't get the mouse over there. I don't see where the mouse is. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, no new chats.
Okay, cool. All right. And then technology assistance. This one is ever evolving with all new sorts of technology. One of our newest additions here is note-taking apps. So our tutors can help students with note-taking strategies either by hand in the study skill area or using note-taking apps in the technology assistance area. We've got some tutors who are really good at digital note-taking and organizing their materials digitally, and they are happy to share those strategies with students. Again, with Google Apps, we can help students use their Google Calendar to help them get organized, or some of the other note-taking features in Google. One of the things that students sometimes need help with is figuring out how to use Google Earth for their geology class. So we can help with that. We can help with spreadsheets. We definitely have business students making appointments for help with Excel. We have a couple of statistical applications we can help with, like Minitab or SPSS. And also specific calculators for math courses. We have tutors who are really great at knowing how to use these calculators and can help students learn to use those calculators more effectively. There are other things that we would be willing to add if we know of a need, and or if we have tutors with the skills that can help in certain areas. For example, last semester we had someone who could help with Adobe skills. That person was an interaction design major, and they had command of a lot of different skills in Adobe Creative Cloud and other programs that they were able to help with. So if we are able to get another tutor on our staff with some of those skills, we would certainly add that to this area here. Looks like we have another comment in the chat. Okay. So Faith is asking, how do freshman students typically find out about your services? Also, do you work closely with accessibility resources? Do they refer students to you? Okay. So students find out about our services in all sorts of ways. Most first-year students do take the GST 104 course or an equivalent course. So that course is offered through the Excel office, the first year experience program. And they do include a lot of campus resources, academic success skills. So OLS is certainly mentioned in that course. And then, a lot of other faculty will mention it in their courses. Some faculty will mention it on their syllabus. Members of the OLS staff, we do visit a lot of first year courses, including GST 104. And we go and talk about, if we're invited, we go and talk about the services we have available. There are also faculty that bring their classes to OLS for a tour. And we find that either when we go visit a classroom or when faculty bring their classes to OLS for a tour, we usually get about 3 new students starting to come to OLS from those types of interactions. We have a very welcoming and inclusive space. We always have a hot beverage bar available for students. We also always have snacks available, and students can come in and, you know, get something to eat or drink and or use our space, whether they have a tutoring appointment or not. So when they come in, they see how welcoming it is, and it usually makes them want to come back. Yes, we do have a lot of contact with accessibility resources. We would not know necessarily if a student receives the services of accessibility resources. It's up to the student to disclose to us, you know, whether they are connected with accessibility resources and or what accommodations they might receive. But yes, we do refer students back and forth to each other's offices. So accessibility resources definitely lets students know, you know, that tutoring is an option. And then if we, you know, become aware of needs that a student might have, we might ask some questions to make sure that they are connected with accessibility resources if it seems like the student would benefit from that. Michelle mentioned a bright space widget. Michelle, do you want to say a little bit more about that?
Not much to say. I just think I was in Brightspace and there was a widget. Oh, you know what? It wasn't Brightspace. It was Laker Life. I take that back. But I think there is a link in Brightspace as well
To tutoring services.
tutoring services. But I think there's also a widget in Laker Life, which is all the student orgs and things, which is great.
Okay. And Professor Blanchfield mentioned that she put a link in her course to Brightspace. So there are definitely professors that do that, that, you know, proactively get their students connected to OLS right at the beginning of the semester. Does anyone have any other questions? Or suggestions for types of assistance that we could add to our lists here?
I have a question. I mean, I've used your services, as you know, and I had a embedded tutor in my History 100 class this past spring, which was awesome. I'm just wondering if you or anyone else could offer some advice about how we can get students to you, because I tried everything, including offering bonus points on an exam to get students to go to OLS for help, and they still wouldn't go. I mean, it was, if they went and they, you know, answered a simple question on an exam, they could get a few extra points. And I thought, okay, that'll be good incentive. But they won't even do that. So I'm just wondering if you or anyone else has any suggestions about getting people there.
So off the top of my head, for some courses, attendance did seem to improve once, you know, like little extra credit options were offered. So we can, we do, you know, record the attendance of students that visit, and students get an automatic email from us when, you know, they attend a session. So if faculty are giving extra credit, you know, or some sort of points for attending tutoring, the students can use that automatic email as proof that they came. They could forward it on to you. As far as other ways to get students to come in, we definitely find that once they come, they like it and they want to come back. So if you would like to try setting up a tour of OLS, bring your class to see the space, that might help getting them to come in. We do have a new writing center coordinator, Stephanie Pritchard, has been our coordinator since January, and she's been doing a lot to beautify the writing center space. We actually just had a graduating tutor paint a mural on the wall. She was an illustration major, but also a writing tutor, and so she painted this great mural on the wall that really transformed the space. So we keep on doing things like that to make students feel like it's a nice place to be. Does anybody else in
Well, there's a question about services available to grad students.
Yep. I just was wondering if anybody else had any like brainstorming to throw in there about ways to get students to go to tutoring.
So I know that tutoring, the number of students coming to tutoring has just exponentially changed. I mean, there's so many more students going, which is great. And we do, and what I've been hearing is that if they come once, they're like, oh, okay, so the tour might be a really good way to make that happen. The other thing that I found out recently is part of our Title III grant is embedded tutoring in math. So we have a lot of several more embedded tutors in the classroom, and they're holding review sessions in the tutoring center. So those students, they're finding that they're coming to that review session for their finals. I don't know if maybe midterms, having a review session or something might be helpful in getting them kind of into the to the tutoring center. But those are the embedded tutors do those, and connecting them to a teaching assistant or somebody that's sort of helping in that in the classroom has been really great to get the students connected. And the more tutoring they do, the better we're showing that they come 5 or more times. They're really showing some improvement in their grade in that class. So some interesting stuff happening in embedded tutoring.
Yeah, and to Lynn's point, we are very busy. We have increased our tutoring numbers overall in both STEM and the other content areas. But STEM is really the most popular. So students are definitely coming in for help with math and science courses. And we do want to help, continue to increase the number of students coming in for tutoring in other areas. So that's Lynn, that's definitely an area for us to keep working on. So we'll keep talking about how we can do that. Peter is asking what services are available to graduate students. So we don't offer content tutoring for graduate level courses, but graduate students could come for any of the other options. So writing assistance, reading skills, study skills, or technology assistance. And oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. And then online tutoring in trying to remember what it's called now. Thinking Storm is another option. If students are looking for support for a course that we don't tutor, they could try the online tutoring option. That's offered through it's a contracted vendor that we use. Any further questions about that, Peter?
No, I was just curious about which services were available, and you very clearly answered that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, Allison, if it's okay, I'd like to ask more about the embedded tutoring and how
I mean, how do you sort of coordinate and organize between the professors in those courses and the embedded tutors? And it seems like something that maybe should get set up sort of like the semester beforehand. Could you walk me through that? Like in an ideal world, how does that process unfold?
So I will do my best to walk you through that. We most of our embedded tutoring is in math courses, but we do have some embedded tutors in some other areas. For example, we had some in chemistry this past semester, and then we've had a few in some other content areas. So, for example, Lynn mentioned that she had one in history. We had one in political science. Spanish embedded tutoring has been popular. So really with embedded tutoring, there's some guidelines as to which courses would be a good fit. So it would need to ideally be a course where the tutor could be involved in what was going on in the classroom. So that the tutor could interact with the students would see like how friendly and helpful that tutor was, and then it would hopefully prompt that student to then come to OLS and seek tutoring there. So it's kind of a way to like help advertise our tutoring services and get the students to come to tutoring. So yes, it is helpful to get those placements kind of in the works before the semester begins. But it's not always possible to finalize it until right before the beginning of the semester. But if it's something that you'd like to talk more about, we could certainly set up a time to chat about it.
Thank you. And then as a follow-up, would this be sort of only really for larger courses? I mean, you're paying people. I assume you only have so much budget to go around. What size or style course is best?
So we've found that smaller courses work better because that gives the tutor more opportunity to interact with the students. So in my mind, it kind of seems like 40 or fewer students. And courses where the tutor can interact with the student. So if it's a lecture-based class, the tutor won't have as much to do. The embedded tutor wouldn't have as much to do in the classroom. They wouldn't probably be interacting with the students a whole lot. But if there's discussions, group activities, like practice problems that tutors can help with, or maybe like discussions about case studies or something like that, might be a better fit.
Of course, thank you. And then outside of the classroom, the idea is that the students would come to OLS and meet with that same tutor, of course, for that course.
Yes, but if that tutor's availability didn't match the student's availability, then they could certainly make an appointment with another tutor.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Love to chat further with you. All right. Looks like we are just about out of time, and I don't see any further questions. So thank you everyone for your time this morning.
Thank you.
And then we can just stop the recording.
Sorry. But yeah, you.
Okay, let's try this again here.
Sorry, I don't know why this. Oh, there it is. It's like disappears.
Yeah, it's
And
very,
it's-
very touchy.
You can grab it either the bottom or the top button.
Yeah.
You should see them
I can also
right
do
by the recording icon.